Pilates, I don't take karate. I'm just running around with my shotty.
There's in downtown Los Angeles, and we're playing Battlefield Hardline. 32 people behind us, all getting ready to game. I'm Alex Mendez.
And I'm Corey Dunn. This is just a ridiculous type of setup here. I mean, you can see again 32 players behind us. We have downtown LA as our backdrop. And what better way to showcase Battlefield Hardline? Of course, we're going to be going through a bunch of different interviews. We'll have, first we'll start off with Ian Millam, who's going to be the creative, or who is the creative director for Visceral, as well as we're going to have Thaddeus Sasser, who's going to join us. He's the lead multiplayer designer that comes in here for Battlefield Hardline. It's going to be a lot of fun. Also, make sure right now, I'm going to go ahead and jump the gun here. Make sure you hop in to the beta right now whenever you get the chance from either on Origin or on PlayStation Network. And so that way you have your chance to be able to jump right into the beta as well and be able to experience the same type of thing that these 32 players are doing right here as well.
Now, I just got to point this out, you know, just because it's kind of ridiculous. So, like, you know, your eyes don't deceive you guys. It's a helicopter recording us down here.
That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous.
It's incredible.
Let's be serious. I mean, that's this type of whole experience that we're seeing here, and we'll look forward to seeing some really good stuff. Of course, the Battlefield Hardline team has been working so hard, and to make all of this type of things possible, I mean, we have our sponsors as well.
That's right. I mean, of course, a big thank you to those guys who are supporting us here. Of course, GameStop, as well as AMD and Sony PlayStation. Big thank you to you guys for supporting us and for supporting this ridiculousness here, because it's absolutely incredible. And of course, another thing that I want to point out too, we're actually going to be checking out the map High Tension, which takes place in downtown LA, conveniently enough. And we're going to be talking with, like you said before, Ian and Thaddeus about why did they go that route, you know, the themes of Battlefield Hardline, and of course the game types. We're going to be taking a look at blood money as well as heist. And you know, we have heist coming up here in a little bit. I'm pretty excited, Corey.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun to be able to just dive right in. We've got, again, 32 gamers that are around here that are going to help us show off this game. And it's just going to be a lot of fun as we just hop directly into it here in just a moment. But before we hop into our first game.
Yeah, that's right. Of course, guys, our first game is going to be brought to you by GameStop. Now, here's the cool thing here, right? If you go and you pre-order Battlefield Hardline at a GameStop, very limited quantity, you actually get a nice Battlefield Hardline money pin. Now, Corey, I believe you have one on.
Yeah, I went over to one of these gamers out here and had the chance to be able to pick up this case right here. And if you look at it, I mean, of course, it's got the Battlefield Hardline on the outside whenever you get the chance to be able to pre-order. Of course, it's not really about the outside of the box, but also what's inside the box, right? And that's that money clip, as you can see, right? Well, it looks like...
I'm sorry, Corey, I forgot to tell you. So, you know, I basically just jacked the money clip, threw some stacks of cash on it, you know, doing what I do best.
Well, first, I don't know if that's my money clip, and I don't even know if that may even be my cash, but...
Not at all. Not at all. No.
So we're already starting off the stream here. I guess we've already determined who's going to be the cops and the criminals here.
Let's go ahead and hop into the action here and check out Battlefield Hardline, folks. It's awesome, and I think it's time to actually go right back into this. Again, guys, brought to you by GameStop. Big thank you to them. And now, you know, before we get into it here, you'll notice a couple similarities if you're a fan of Battlefield 4. You have the spectator mode making a dramatic return once again. Tabletop perspective is back, third person, first person view, as well as, like you're seeing right now, the beautiful free roam camera.
Yeah, so we get the chance. You can see at the top they've kind of changed things up a little bit. They've kind of brought forth the scoring, or more so the objective, a little bit further here, and so you can really get a perspective of what we see. You've got the alpha side there and how they're broken down into squads. So just again, the spectator mode, a lot of similarities that we saw there from Battlefield 4, and we really get that dramatic element that makes Battlefield so interesting to watch. But right now we're in the game type that is heist. Again, this map is it is high tension, and it's a lot of fun. One of the things that we'll get the chance to talk with during our interviews is going to be about the vertical dynamic of it. There's been some really cool things that we've had the chance to through our experiences of playing the game, and we see like zip lines. So just imagine, like you see back here in the back, where I can go from one of these buildings down to another on a zip line. Are you serious?
Yeah, it's actually
that happens in Battlefield Hardline.
Something you can do. It's something you can do. It's kind of ridiculous. So another thing to point out here for you guys, and you know, something that I think is just awesome is heist and blood money are two game types that are brand new to the Battlefield universe, but they still retain that Battlefield feeling. right? You know, high action, vehicles going around everywhere. Obviously, there is a great emphasis, and I personally dig this, on the infantry play. I'm really enjoying just like the basic gunplay there, and that's been one of my favorite things about it, you know, just play testing. I had a chance to go out to EA Redwood Shores and actually play the game beforehand, and I mean, it was awesome. I had such a great time with it. Of course, heist. Let's talk about this game mode here. So basically the premise of it, and I'll actually go ahead and bust out the tabletop, is you have 2 objectives that you have to go to, 2 particular cases. You can actually see one of the players actually carrying a package right now. That's a Zhao's Kun. So the basic premise, grab the package, take it over to the drop-off point. There are 2 drop-off points in the map, and it seems like he got pinned down. So now the cops have the opportunity to actually return the package back over to the vault, and the criminals have to do it again.
Yeah, keeping it to true Battlefield fashion. It is, right now we're currently in a 16 versus 16 scenario, 32-man server, and then we also, of course, Battlefield is still going to continue for Battlefield Hardline, a 64. But look at this. I mean, you get the chance to be able to drive around in police cars. We'll talk about vehicles later on as well. So there's different types of vehicles that you can hop into. I believe there's 12 different, just in this game, or just in this map right here, that you can actually hop into. So you still have your crew that you can carry around in you know, with you, and some of these crew cabs, as well as some of the police cars. You'll be able to pop on the lights just as you like to. And so you really get an experience of what you would think whenever you're driving around in downtown LA. Of course, before we even hop into the game, even the loading screen is cool to watch.
Yeah, you know, it's like it's really trying to keep true to it. It seems like we're actually going to have a score here, so I believe that they are going to be able to cap this going. Yes, they do. So, and basically, there you have it, right? So you have 100 tickets for the criminals that they have to manage to secure the goal with. And I'm actually going to see right now who's leading here. So it's, yep, we actually have a guy who's actually 9 and 5. But yeah, so basically, as you can see at the top of the scoreboard, and one thing I really like about the spectator mode this time around, it really adds a lot to the just dynamic of the game, right? It, you know, you see it clearly. Cops have infinite lives. Meanwhile, there's one package that is going to be grabbed, and they have 19 tickets to do it. So they have a lot on their plate here to be able to accomplish their task.
So something that we haven't dove into, again, everything is still true to the idea of what Battlefield is all about. You have your different types of classes that you can work with. Those have been renamed and kind of more so created for the this type of environment right here. Of course, you still have your traditional idea of support, medic, engineer, as well as your assault type classes there. So you get the whole spectrum of what you've seen in previous Battlefields. Of course, there's been some twists that have been done to those types of elements here for Battlefield Hardline. So it's just a lot of cool things to look out for, especially whenever you try. Now, again, if you want to communicate with the rest of the crew out there, the rest of the people that are out there, utilize the aspect of hashtag BF Hardline.
That's right.
We'll be able to check that out. We'll be looking through social media out there on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, what have you, whatever you want to be able to communicate and get your voice heard. Make sure you utilize the hashtag BF Hardline.
Yeah, and I'm actually looking here. I believe they do have the package, so they're going to be making their way up top and trying to see if they can cap this one. And so this game of heist actually has gotten to be very, very intense. I want to take a look and see what's going on with the yeah, there we go with the tabletop perspective. So the package is actually going to be in the hands of Mississippi, and they're making their way up top. So now here's the goal, right? The goal for the criminals, get to the top of the building and extract the package so that this way they're able to accomplish their task, win the game. They have no more tickets to do this. They have 0 tickets remaining, but yet this shotgun Mississippi trying to make magic happen here for the crew, trying to get this money. But of course the struggle has never been more real right now, as he is just stuck in a staircase. His teammates are dying all over the place.
He's doing a great job, though, allowing his teammates to be right there with him and being able to spawn off of him, taking advantage of that squad mentality here that you get from Battlefield. You see them trying to push up those staircases, but you saw the opposition on the other side. Of course, look at those cops right there on top. They're trying to hold it down, making sure that this objective doesn't finish here, and gives you that exact same type of feel that you're seeing right here. And look at it's almost, you can barely see the difference between what's IRL and what's not.
Yeah, I know,
real
right?
life?
Is this real life? It's ridiculous. And taking a look here, you know, going to be using that Marine Magnum shotgun there, the Enforcer class, which, you know, again, it's going to be more of that heavy kind of gameplay that you're going to see. Obviously, taking out ammo for his teammates. They have no more tickets, so Mississippi is basically keeping the drive alive. I mean, he gets taken out, and the cops have managed to stop them. All tickets have been taken as the law enforcement, the 5-0, The police.
The whoop whoop.
The whoop whoop. They win this one.
You can give me my my GameStop pre-order money clip back here now that the cops won. This is not a bet. This is just the fact that it is my money clip. So make sure you head over to GameStop and pre-order to get your own very own money clip. That has been designed by Visceral right there. If you look at it again, it's on the outside. You can see that it has the police, the sheriff badge on there. And so that shows you, I mean, just the little things that matter, right? That's the little things, even the little things that matter, like this this LA backdrop.
I don't know if this is one of the little things.
I don't think this is one of the little things.
Of course, we have plenty more to check out.
Of course.
Plenty more to check out. So, without further ado, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to have Ian Millam joining us here, the creative director for Visceral, talking about the direction that Battlefield Hardline has taken. Hopefully, you guys back at home are enjoying it, and we'll see you on the other side. All right, so it seems like we're back. Of course, it's been an absolutely nutty day here at E3. I mean, obviously the EA press conference went on. Pretty sure people are going gaga for Battlefield Hardline right now. I'm joined by Ian Millam, who is the creative director over at Visceral. Ian, how you doing?
I'm doing really great. This is a very exciting day. We've been looking forward to this for a real long time.
Yeah, it's been a long time in the making, I can only imagine. Of course, guys, just to let you guys know, without the sponsors of this event, this would not be possible. So want to give a big thank you to the guys over at Sony PlayStation. This next game is going to be brought to you by Sony PlayStation. The guys back here are playing on PS4s, and they're getting ready to go in a little bit because we're going to be showing off Blood Money, the new game type on High Tension. Now, I guess, you know, Ian, when you talk about Battlefield, it's very commonly known. It's associated with military and, you know, war and all that stuff. But yet, you guys were like, you know, we want to do something a little bit different. Why go this route?
Well, there's a bunch of different reasons, really. I think when you're coming out with another game in a series like this, you want to you need to do both things. You need to bring the tradition that people want, but also the stuff that's new, right? Because we know people are going to see this coming out and go like, alrighty, yeah, I know what you were doing. You had some, like, bank robbery other game, and you thought you'd be able to sell a bunch more if you put Battlefield on the box, right? So we're really making sure that we deliver on the Battlefield DNA. We've been starting and working with DICE for over 2 years now, making sure that this thing is Battlefield at its core and that the DNA works. But at the same time, I think when you're making something, you got to make something new. Like, Battlefield already exists, and it's awesome. So they don't need to buy the same game again. They want something fresh and cool and has a bit different things. So we were thinking about what is a world, what is a feeling that we can really pay off on the great things that Battlefield has, from the vehicles to the classes to the teamwork to the whole kind of thing put together, and yet in something that feels fresh and cool. So that's where we came up with the cops and people have been playing cops and criminals in their backyard since they were little.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah, of course. Cops and robbers. I mean, since forever ago. Of course, guys, like I said before, this game is going to be brought to you by PlayStation, Sony PlayStation, and make sure you guys are using the hashtag BFHardline, because if you guys are talking about it on social media, that's always a good thing. I know you guys back at Visceral are looking at all the feedback.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, making sure
my phone's blowing up right now. I can feel it.
I can only imagine. And, of course, if you guys are talking about it out there, use that hashtag BFHardline. Just want to hammer that way, whatever social media you guys decide to use. Also, one more thing I want to point out is that we're going to be giving away a couple of PlayStation 4s to you guys. Yeah, so you guys who are talking about Battlefield Hardline. So, you know, we want to thank our fans for obviously tuning in and having a good time watching the game. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the fun here, because we got Blood Money going on. Yeah. And the action, Ian, I got to ask you, you know, Blood Money, very unique game type in the Battlefield universe. Obviously brand new, never been done before. Why go this route? Is it just because you have a fantasy of just wanting to run over to a vault with stacks of cash on your back?
Well, it kind of, you come at these things from both sides, right? There is the obvious fantasy experiences that you want to pay off on. Yeah. And then there's the strategy and gameplay. Who is this mode for? How does it sort of work? And in this case, I love Blood Money.
Yeah.
Because it really pays off on all the things that Battlefield is great at. The teamwork, the fluidity, the tactics, the whole thing. And what makes Blood Money especially cool, the idea is that there's been some event, like it could be that a bank car crashes or whatever. So there's a big pile of money in the middle, and both teams are trying to get it. The cops are trying to recover some and put it away. The criminals are trying to get some for themselves, of course. But the vaults they take it to are not secure. So this is a mode that really allows for like epic comebacks. Like one team can almost have it all, and then they gradually get taken back. It ends up with like the center of gravity moves around the map, and it really plays into some of the things we've done with this game in terms of fast vehicles, being able to travel, being able to team up on something so you can arrive in like a car full of friends and take a bunch of stuff. You can go over in the helicopters. There's a lot of different ways to make it happen.
Yeah, speaking of helicopters, one whizzing over us as we speak right now.
Yeah.
Pretty ridiculous.
It's super cool.
And it's kind of ironic because I'm showing a helicopter here.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, a little helicopterception.
Yeah.
Now, you know, a common misconception that's out there that I've been seeing a lot on Reddit, I've been seeing it on various social media, has been people saying, oh, well, you know, Visceral is making the single player, obviously, because they're really well known for that, but DICE is making the multiplayer. And I think it'll be a good time for us to kind of dispel that. So how involved are you guys in the multiplayer development, or I should say, how involved is DICE in it for the Mass Effect?
Well, we've been working with DICE since day one to make sure that this is quality Battlefield. This is something that we are leading. Everything that people are playing here today, we built the whole map. We've been contributing to BF3 and BF4 in little bits along the way, and DICE is contributing here because there's a lot of excitement at DICE too about this game.
Yeah.
And so there were people at DICE that said, "Hey, can we do some stuff? Let's do some things." So those guys, we have some artists and designers and people helping us out at DICE, but it's not like they're making the multiplayer, we're making the single player. This is a Visceral production.
Very much a Visceral game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice stuff there. I mean, you know, so those of you guys back home who are like, oh no, Visceral's not doing this, they are. But the cool part is, you know, and having talked with you guys, like when I went out to EA Redwood Shores and all that, you guys are very involved. You guys are you know, taking this to another level as far as just interaction is concerned with the community. You invited a bunch of YouTubers and all that.
Oh, yeah,
to
sure.
Play test the game, give feedback. How important was that for you? I mean, you know, to sink your teeth into that.
There's nothing more important, obviously. When you're talking about a multiplayer game that you hope for people to spend hundreds of hours in, and you need it to have a lot of accessibility that people can drop in and kind of get it, and I think that's something that this world really offers.
Yeah.
But also, hundreds of hours in, they need to be finding new stuff. The tactics need to evolve. You know, it needs to be balanced. It needs to be great. And as much as we think we know what we're doing, we got some pretty smart people on this team. There's no replacement for really talking to the fans, really getting their feedback, really letting them bang on it for a while and see how it goes. And that's part of what we've decided to do here at E3 that I think is pretty cool. I mean, we're all gamers. We've been through a lot of E3s ourselves, and we're going to make sexy trailers. Sexy trailers are fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's no replacement for actually playing the game. So that's why we are opening it up to everybody. Please download it, play it, check it out. We're going to get a lot of telemetry off of that. We're going to get a ton of feedback, I hope. This thing is not done. It's coming out this fall. We got a lot more stuff coming up and a lot more things we can work on. So I'm pretty excited to hear what people say.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you know, it's funny even as we talk about it. You know, the people behind us are actually cheering because they're you know, probably experiencing some ridiculous moment in the game, which I think is irreplaceable. Now, speaking about how Battlefield Hardline came to be, right? Because I think the story is very cool. It's very unique. Talk to me about this. Tell the people at home about this. This is not EA saying, all right, we want you to make a Battlefield game. This was actually you guys saying, we want to make.
Well, it just kind of happened organically. We've been making games for a long time, and one of the cool things about being part of EA, right, are these tremendous teams all around the world. Yeah. And we get together to share tips and techniques and what we've been working on. And in January of 2012, our GM, Steve, was at a meeting with the GM of DICE, and they just started basically, you know, having a love fest about, man, your game's awesome. I love Dead Space. Oh, really? I love Battlefield. And they just sort of talked about, wouldn't it be fun to team up on something? Yeah. And Steve came back to the office and he was like, hey, man, you're a big Battlefield guy. And I was like, hell yeah, I've been playing it since it came out. I remember I played the hell out of the Wake Island demo in 2002. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Well, what's going on? He's like, well, what do you think about this idea? I don't know. I mean, what do you think? And I was, of course, over the moon about the possibilities of doing a Battlefield game. But then, right, I was a little bit worried that maybe DICE would just want us to exactly do what they've done. Like, were they going to let us do something with it? Were they going to let us change it up? Because they've been working on this thing for a very long time, and a lot of those DICE guys have been there since day one. And but I thought, man, I really think Cops and Criminals would really work. I think that's a fantasy in a world that could really pay off for me.
That's right.
And I can get that, and I think it really fits with where Battlefield could go. So we got a whole presentation together. We went over to DICE and nervous because it's kind of a, it's a departure. And we presented, hey guys, like, what do you think? Could we do? What do you think, like, Cops and Robbers? And it was amazing because they went, oh my God, really? Because then they pulled out their presentation, and because they had been wanting to do a Cops and Robbers version for a long time. They've been trying it for years. They just had never really gotten a chance to really do a slate, right?
Yeah.
And what I loved is the fiction was so strong, and the fantasies and the things that I want to do as a cop or a criminal, right? I want to use the word perp.
Yeah.
I want to go whoop with the lights. I want to tase a guy.
Yeah.
And then when I'm a criminal, I don't need to take over the world. I want to rob banks, and I want to blast music out of my car, and I want to have like that kind of experience.
Yeah.
And those fantasies translated so well, and those experiences we wanted to create translated so well. It was what DICE had to do. We thought, well, we have to make this. This has to happen, and we've been going ever since.
Nice. Again, I find it to be cool because, obviously EA has a lot of studios, and EA works, there's a lot of interconnectivity there. So it's interesting to see a studio like Visceral, very much, I mean, Dead Space, obviously, it was like your baby, and I love Dead Space, like,
thank you.
And then to kind of like venture out into a very different world, but yet still do it Visceral style, I think.
Yeah, no, it's been great, and this idea, right? We've done alien spaceships and foreign planets and all that kind of stuff, and don't get me wrong, I love that, but doing something like this in the real world, I mean, look at this. I mean, like right here, and translating that to an experience that people can have live and in such a accessible, easy to get into and easy to get sort of thing has been really, really rewarding. Yeah. One of the things that I think has always been tricky about these giant multiplayer games, look at all the features, look at all the things you can do. They can be a little intimidating. Yeah. Right? Yeah. If you come in and you haven't played this before and you're like, wait, where am I supposed to go? What am I supposed, like my teammate? And then some guy comes by in a helicopter and bam, you're dead, or this, there's so much going on, and really experienced people can own other people, and what we think that this fiction really, really offers, it's super gettable. Like I know what I need to do as a cop or a criminal when it's like a heist or it's blood money and I got to get this stuff. Like I get it. I get what I need to do. So I'm really excited about showing it to everybody today.
Nice stuff. And of course, you guys saw the police win again. Actually, so the way, blood money works is you basically just steal the cash and you take it to your vault. You can steal the enemy's cash and take it to, their vault too, which I think is really cool. It's kind of like give and take.
Sometimes you get these real short matches where one team is really coordinated and really takes it down because there's a lot of risk reward in how much cash you can carry at the time. And other times you get these standoffs where like one team almost gets it all the way and then the other team sort of does a daring raid and pulls it out at the last second, and then it almost comes from them. And you get these really great chases back and forth because it really encourages traversing the map all the way from the beginning to end. Yeah. You also find people that when they're carrying like maybe the game finishing stack of cash and they know they can do it, they want to kind of take the sneaky way. So you'll see people go to the top of the building and then try to zip line all the way from the top of one building all the way to where their thing is so they can sneak around. It's great. I'm really, really happy with it.
Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of the game type. Blood Money is awesome to watch as well because, central objectives are always fun to spectate, right? Because you know where the action's going to be. Yeah. But then when you throw in helicopters, as we saw, helicopter on helicopter gameplay or chasing cars down the street, I mean, honestly, it's awesome. So
yeah, it's really great. And I think it really pays off on some of the stuff that Battlefield has always been so good at, but now in a whole new way, right? This is a game where you can contribute in all kinds of different ways. If you are a hardcore, super fast Twitch player with reflexes, like a fleet, just bing, 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 like you can get guys, that game is for you. But if you're someone who really likes to coordinate who really wants to get their strategy together, who's going to help all their teammates by spotting where the bad guys are, or ferrying them to where they need to go, or driving vehicles, or hooking them up with more ammo or more whatever, using the gadgets to provide access. You can provide a zipline for everyone else. There's so many different ways to contribute and to a winning team in this, and then we designed all our game modes to really allow all those different contributions to come together into something successful.
Very cool stuff indeed. Well, Ian, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, man.
I appreciate it. It's been an absolute blast.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah, I can't wait. I mean, to dive even more into it, we're going back to Heist.
Are you? Okay.
Yeah, we're going back to Heist.
Excellent.
Thaddeus is going to be coming up here. He's the lead multiplayer designer.
He's the lead multiplayer designer. So I'm the creative director. It's my job to just sort of make sure that the experience is coming together and that it's cool, and be the sort of the cheerleader and the glue for the team, and kind of get out of their way and let them make this awesome thing. And then Thad, that's the man with the details. He's the one who turns the fun into math and then back into fun, and watching the balance and making sure everything is tight, poring over the maps pixel by pixel to make sure there's no unbalance or any of that kind of stuff. So if everybody's got the more hardcore questions, softballs for me. Just, you know, like,
we're talking about how pretty things are.
Yeah, this kind of stuff. But Thad can give you the real details.
Nice stuff. Well, Ian, once again, thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
We're going to be right back in a little bit. Corey is going to be back here with Thaddeus from Visceral, talking about the nitty-gritty details of the game. You're not going to want to miss it.
Product not yet ready.
Hello and welcome back. As you've seen, we've got some great action from Battlefield Hardline throughout that we had the chance to be able to talk there to Ian Millen, and now we're here with Thaddeus Sasser, the lead multiplayer designer. Thad, thanks for hopping on here. Of course, I want to dive right into it. I want to there, and a lot of people want to know if they're in good hands. So tell me a little bit about what your resume is all about.
Absolutely. Well, I've loved first-person shooters since I've known they existed, basically, since the days of Doom and Quake and so on, way back in the day. And I've always loved playing them. I've loved thinking about them. I started designing them in my free time back when I was younger. And for me, it's so exciting to be able to work on the Battlefield franchise. I've worked on Call of Duty, I've worked on Ghost Recon, and to be able to work on Battlefield is just a dream come true for me.
So let's talk about that real fast, just the differences between, I mean, so that immediately jumps out at to me is you've got your 1v1s like your Doom and Quakes, then you also have your Call of Duties. How does that kind of transcend into a game like Battlefield?
Well, I'll tell you, I had a lot of learning to do when I first came onto the Battlefield games team. And the DICE guys have been instrumental in helping you understand how Battlefield is put together, how the maps are made, what kind of metrics they look at, what kind of distances they have in game, how the rock, paper, scissors work, how the class balance work, all that stuff. So they've been instrumental in helping me get my head around how Battlefield actually works.
So one of the things that you had mentioned to me real briefly too is that Visceral actually had a part of Endgame from Battlefield 4.
Endgame, that's right, X-Pac 5 for Battlefield 3. Yeah, we had a lot to do with that. You know, we worked on things like the dropship and capture the flag and dirt bikes, which you'll see a return of in Battlefield Hardline.
So one of the things, it's our final match here of the day. It's brought to you by AMD, who's been a huge sponsor of Hardline Team to make things possible here. So don't forget, if you're playing on PC, you can even stream directly using the AMD Mantle technology. And so don't forget to download that on your PC so you can start streaming right now. So for those of you that haven't done it yet, make sure you head over to Origin or your PlayStation Network and go ahead and hop on there and start playing the beta right now so you can start formulating all your different questions and kind of putting it into a database, and so you're ready to send it off into the internets, if you will. So as we've hopped into here to the game here, again brought to you by AMD, one of the things that that's kind of stands out, we'll start off by talking about some of the level design. So first off, we're here on high tension, and it is a very vertical map. So how does that factor into coming up with the structure, the gameplay, and everything for level design?
Well, there's a lot of really cool things about High Tension. The level designers and the artists have done a fantastic job of realizing the heart of downtown Los Angeles. And one of my favorite things about this map is, as you mentioned, the vertical gameplay. We've got a lot of new mobility-enhancing gadgets like the zipline crossbow and grappling gun. Open the space up in new and interesting ways that allow players to be sneaky or to go around additional blocks you might have on going up in a building.
There you go. So as we continue going to, I mean, so there's some other elements that are still a part of what we've seen for Battlefield 4, destruction aspects of it. Can we go through from the biggest of the big to the smallest of small? What's the things like Battlefield Hardline?
Well, one of the things we heard the gamers say quite loudly was that they love the spectacle of destruction, but they really wanted more impact on the play space in terms of destruction. And one of the things we want to do with Battlefield Hardline is really allow players to choose creating new routes, destroying old routes, opening up new gameplay spaces is really the heart of what we want the destruction to do. To that end, we've still got those big spectacle moments, for example, like the crane collapses in downtown. Players can find out how they can drop this crane on the play space, and it completely changes the heart of the map. It creates new routes to go between buildings, it blocks the vehicle flow a little bit, and it gives players some interesting cover choices and concealment choices as well. So this aspect of player choice is one of the things we're really emphasizing in Battlefield Hardline in regards to destruction.
So let's talk about this. We're on High Tension. What are some of the other maps that we get the chance to experience? Are there going to be a lot of down LA type things, or what do we have?
Well, I think Battlefield traditionally had a wide range of maps, from very rural to the very urban, and Battlefield Hardline is no exception. You'll go a lot of different places, maybe even some exotic places you haven't necessarily thought about before. We've got some exciting surprises in store for you.
So we'll have to be on the lookout for that, especially here in the later fall. If you, again, hop into the beta as soon as possible. Start downloading everything now, just so while you're watching the live stream, as soon as the live stream's over, you can hop directly into the beta here for Battlefield Hardline. And of course, if you're wanting to talk about it right now, make sure you utilize the hashtag BFHardline there for your Twitter, your Instagram, Facebook, what have you. They're on social media. But one of the things I wanted to talk about too, especially while we're going into the nitty-gritty, the nuts and bolts, if you will, of this game, or the pixels, if you will. That's what Ian had mentioned. Do you really go through each individual pixel?
Well, there's a lot of pixels in the game, so as you can imagine.
Of course, yeah. So we go back into continuing with the environment aspect of things. So how do you differentiate between the 32-man type environment to a 64-man with Hardline?
Well, there's a lot of factors at play there, and one of the biggest ones is the game modes. Certain game modes work best with smaller player counts, and other game modes work best with large player counts. So a lot of it comes down to both the level design supporting a wide range of different play styles and the 64 or 32 players, as well as the game mode really supporting those very well.
So as we look at it, we've got some different areas that we'll see a lot of close quarter combat, some long range. How do you really look at the different elements from building to building or in a staircase?
Well, as mentioned before, High Tension has a lot of verticality, but it's also got a lot of different types of play spaces, whether it's that long-range engagement you're talking about or that close-quarter style combat. So players can really kind of find their particular play style niche inside this map. If you like close quarters, going into the skyscrapers and using the elevators or, running around inside the buildings and securing those and shooting out at people down on the street, we support that. But if you want to get out there and you want to lock down a certain street with either your vehicle or your individual weapon, you could do that as well at a longer range. So it really caters to all kinds of different play styles. And one of the great things about Battlefield, of course, is the class system. And we've carefully designed and elaborated on the classes to really support these different types of ranges in the actual combat.
So one of the things that we look at here, especially with the environment, you've got a lot of different space to look at. We need to jump into the game modes aspect of it, right? So here we're watching Heist. How does this actually just kind of explain the objective and what's the purpose of Heist?
Well, Heist, I mean, when you start thinking about a cops and robbers game, what's the first thing you think of? The first thing I think of is robbing a banker, pulling off that big score, that perfect job, right? And Heist is really all about that specific scenario. In the case of High Tension, the criminals are ambushing an armored car transport convoy moving through the heart of the city. It starts off with a little bit of in-game action that players get to witness in first person, and they see these armored cars get hit by RPGs. Now, once these cars are disabled, the criminals have to rush up and they have to arm explosive charges on the backs of the vehicles. These charges take a certain amount of time to go off, and this gives the police the opportunity to respond, get there, and defuse the charges before the criminals break in.
So let's talk about some of this. So earlier we had the chance to watch Blood Money there going into that one. I have to get particular now. how much cash can I carry? I mean, is it just a money clip worth that I can get from GameStop, or can I carry suitcases or even car full?
It's a giant duffel bag full.
Oh, a duffel bag
You
full.
can carry about $500,000 in that duffel bag.
Nice.
So with the total cap being around $5 million for the mode for your side to win, you can imagine it takes about 10 trips back and forth in blood money. But I want to be clear here that you take this cash, you go to the center, you take the cash, you take it back to your vault. It's not going to be safe there.
Right.
The enemy team can raid your vault, and with a coordinated effort, they can actually drain your vault and put it in theirs and flip the mode dramatically. That's one of my favorite things about blood money.
And so far, now we get the chance to see that another game is completed here on High Tension. It's been fun to kind of get into the idea of how each one of these modes can work, especially for Blood Money. What other modes can we be on the lookout for?
I think you could probably expect to see a couple, the return of maybe a classic mode or two. You know, obviously Battlefield fans, we know very well what they like and what they like to play. We've got some ideas around that. And I'd also like the players to think about what kind of particular scenarios they imagine in a Cops and Robbers game, and hopefully we're going to scratch those itches for you. We've got some surprising and exciting things in store for you.
Well, just make sure, one of the things out there, too, has been all brought to you by AMD, and just like Battlefield 4, you can give the AMD APU or the Radeon GPU and all the other owners that are out there, and one of the things that you can really expect is that amazing performance and visuals like you've seen in the previous AMD, and also you can take advantage of the supporting factor from the AMD mantle there with that type of technology and being able to stream directly in. Of course, you'll see that in the coming this year with other games like you'll have Plants vs. Zombies, Garden Warfare, and other games like you'll see, I believe that's Dragon Age and Inquisition, and there's a lot of other great games that are going to be coming out there that you can take advantage of with the AMD Catalyst driver and everything like that. The other thing, too, a lot of people that are out there, what they care about is being able to stream directly through there. So be on the lookout for the Catalyst driver or directly from an AMD, and you can stream right there onto Twitch, right there from your PC, utilizing this driver. So special thanks there to AMD for making things possible, especially making all of this possible. There's so many other questions that I know I can dive into when talking in terms of gameplay. So the best way that I can recommend there to those that are out there, hop on the forums and ask all the questions. What are the things that you need to kind of make a really concrete idea on?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd like to reemphasize that point. We're really looking forward to hearing what the fans think of the title, what they think of the beta, what they think of the play experience, what they think of the balance. And your feedback is important. Now, it's great to hear I love this or I hate that or whatever, but more importantly, we want to hear why. If you hate something, it's cool. Tell us why you hate it. Is it unbalanced? Is it overpowered? Whatever. Be vocal, because we're listening, we're watching, we're checking out all this feedback, and this is not something new. This is something we've done throughout the course of the project. So just to be clear, we're really interested in what the fan feedback is.
Thank you, Ted, very much, as we will go ahead and head directly into the multiplayer video here from Battlefield Hardline, so stay tuned and take a look.
Biggest tiny cracker in her class.
Sure, why not? It's been a pretty quiet day so far.
Breaking news. A heist is underway in downtown Los Angeles. The target? Armored trucks. Sky 5 News is reporting live from the increasingly chaotic scene.
Gentlemen, let's get cracking. We got a heist to pull.
211 in progress. Suspects are armed and dangerous. Backup is needed. Code 3.
Cops spotted on the bridge!
Someone pinned down! Help me out here!
He hit the crank pin!
The package is en route to the drop-off.
Go, go!
He hit the third cable. That crane is coming down.
Grapple's up and good! Don't let him pin us! Okay, bro! That's what you get! Take the shot! Need some help here! They've got us surrounded! Stop them!
This is the police. Land your helicopter now.
Take the pilot out! No! No! You have the right to remain silent. Hell yeah! Then let's just do
Really second.